my long-awaited laser hair removal updated video. I know that from all of you guys that have watched my previous videos and have been sitting there waiting patiently for me to update you on my sessions, the video is here. Every single thing that you need to know about the laser, mind you, I am not certified to do this. I'm just going off of my experience and what happened to me, and basically what I do. I can't tell you about anything else. I can't speak on anyone else and their experience because it's only me and this is all I can talk to you about because that's all I know. I'm just gonna get right into it. I know I uploaded, I think, 3 videos so far regarding the laser. If you haven't seen any of those videos, I suggest you look at them so you can actually see the actual procedure and what you go through when you get the laser done. Now, I'm only doing laser on my bikini area. So everything else, like I said in my previous video, I wax. So I wax everything else from my underarms, my arms, my legs, my lip, my eyebrows, my nose, whatever, I wax that. So if you want me to do a separate video for those that aren't ready to take that step into laser, I can definitely give you an in-depth video about waxing and that as well too, because that's something that I have more experience with too, because yeah, waxing is my thing. So for the laser, I'm only doing the bikini area. I have done a total of 4 sessions so far. A lot of people are afraid of getting laser done, and I don't really blame you because it's not the best feeling in the world. But for someone who suffers, let's say there's like a lot of people that have like hormonal problems who grow hair like at a rapid pace and they just don't like hair, or whether they're doing a lot of things that involves like me personally, a lot of times I do a lot of photo shoots and I rather not have to, like if I'm waxing all the time, I would have to wait until I'm freshly waxed before I can even do anything. And getting the laser, that's like a more permanent solution to the point where I don't have to worry. I can just get up and go and not have to worry about shaving, waxing, plucking, tweezing, whatever. Laser is not 100% permanent hair removal. So there's a difference between laser and electrolysis. With laser, maybe down the line, a couple years later, you might start to grow some hair back. Obviously, like changes with your body, your hormones can definitely like increase like hair growth. So you never want to go in to laser thinking, okay, I'm gonna be 100% hair free, hair's never gonna grow back, whatever. So that's the first thing you have to understand. The hair might come back, the hair might not come back. Everyone's hair is completely different, everyone's body is completely different. So what might not come back for someone might grow back for someone else. If you have like dark hair, coarse hair, it tends to work a lot better with the laser than anyone that has like light hair. Anyone that has more of a fair skin tone, that have lighter hair, the laser might not necessarily work for them because the laser has to be able to detect the dark hair, the melanin in your skin, all of that in order for the laser to technically work and remove the hair. I'm only gonna focus on my skin tone because I don't know any other skin tone but mine, and I'm only, like I said, talking about my experience. So with my skin tone, I actually feel that I'm chocolate as hell, but everybody likes to call me caramel. Not everybody, nobody calls me that in reality, but with my skin tone, or for anyone that's darker than me, I don't know why I keep spitting so much. For anyone that's like my skin tone, darker, anyone that has like melanin like crazy, I mean everybody has melanin, but some more than others, they use a specific laser. So for anyone that is of darker skin tone, they should be using a YAG laser. So if they're not using a YAG laser, then it's not the laser for you. And I've experienced that before on one of my other sessions that I did a while back. I went to this place where everyone was ranting and raving about, like on Instagram, like, oh my god, she's amazing, oh my god, like she did the laser, my hair is not coming back, whatever, whatever, whatever. So I went there and she briefly explained to me what it was. I had like hair on my stomach and I wanted to get rid of that because going to the beach and wearing like crop tops and belly out shirts, it can be a little bit annoying having to like walk around in public and you have stubbles or you already have like ingrown hairs and dark spots in your stomach. So that was one of the biggest things that I wanted to get rid of first. So I went and got the laser done there. I didn't know anything about like different lasers or intensities or anything like that. I just went and got my stomach done. And I think I paid $60 for the session, and it didn't necessarily hurt, but in reality, what laser feels like is a rubber band stinging you. It's like as if somebody's taking a rubber band and they're going back and they're pulling and they're stinging you with it. That's what I feel like. So she was doing my stomach, and then I got home, and while I was at home that night when I was going to sleep, like my belly was itching so bad, and I didn't know why my belly was itching. I didn't want to scratch it because obviously I had just done the laser a couple hours before that, and I didn't know like what was going on. So I was like waking up in the middle of the night, I'm like rubbing my belly so much. I'm like, why is this burning so much? I'm like, what the hell did I do? So the next day I looked at it and it was like extremely red. So like I said, the laser is like circles, so it's like little pulses that go into every single like one of your follicles. So the next day you can see all of these red spots of exactly where the laser was on my stomach. And day by day it started to look like a bruise, and then it just looked burnt and completely, like the days by day it kept getting darker and darker, and I'm over here like, what the hell is wrong with my belly? It was to the point where it's like I wanted to cry, because obviously that's something that I didn't want, is the hair on my belly. And then the last thing I would want is to have a scar or like my belly to even mess up from something that I wasn't even 100% confident in getting done in the first place. So it was just like a completely messed up situation, because in reality, like I said, going into little places like that and not necessarily doing like the background check and not doing my research, that obviously bite you in the ass. So I called her, complained about it, and the first thing she told me was like, oh, that's normal, it tends to happen. And she didn't want to necessarily give me a time frame for when it's going to subside. It was like, oh, it's gonna go away in like 3 months. Okay, red flag. What is that? That makes no sense to me. Why you get a laser done, and I know you're supposed to go like every couple of weeks, whatever. Why am I supposed to wait for 3 months for this to go away? So long story short, that was a long story, but it ended up going away. And while it was like still healing, I went to Ideal Image, which is like a popular laser company here in, I'm pretty sure they're all over the US, but I live in Florida. So I went there with my stomach still healing to basically let them know that this was a problem that I was having and this is where I wanted to get the laser done. Obviously they said I couldn't do the laser until that healed completely, but they went up and they searched, like they researched where I went, and they were looking, there was a picture of her like on Instagram or whatever, and she's posing with the laser and obviously like doing a client or whatever. And they, just from looking at the picture, they automatically can tell that the laser that she was using was completely the wrong laser for my skin tone. So back to the beginning of what I was saying, if they're not using a YAG laser on your skin that's, let's say, my tone or like darker, then they're not using the right laser for you. So that's like obviously a red flag right there. Run away. What kind of laser you using? In a YAG? Bye. I don't want you to touch me with that. When I was waxing, I used to break out like crazy on my stomach, and that's the reason why I went to do the laser. My stomach is completely cleared. It looks like I never even had hair there whatsoever. So I am extremely happy with the results for doing it at Ideal Image on my stomach. So then afterwards, after like contemplating for a while, I'm like, you know what? I'm really tired of waxing. I'm really tired of like having to deal with the hair on my bikini, especially like starting to break out like on the sides, and like discoloration or hyperpigmentation or whatever, and just like walking around, like even if you go to the beach and people looking at you like, oh my god, like why her crotch look like that? And that's just something I didn't want to happen. So I went to Ideal Image and I was talking to them about getting my bikini done, and now there's different levels of like bikinis. So basically what I'm doing is everything on the front. So like your bikini line, your whole top, in your lips, everything. That's what I'm doing. I'm not doing the back, which is like in my butt strip. That's what we call it in like waxing terms. Like I'm not doing that right now. Eventually I'm probably gonna do that when I'm doing my underarms, because it was like a completely separate service. Like it was kind of like your bikini plus, it's your bikini is like the sides and the front. And then there's a bikini plus, which was like a completely different price, which is including like the back. And I was like, whatever, I wax anyway, like nobody don't be in my bana like that. And bana means ass in St. Croix or Crucian terminology. But anyways, like nobody don't be in my bana like that, so I rather just like wax it and then worry about the rest later. I ended up paying approximately like $1,800 for the entire thing. Now mind you, I didn't drop $1,800 right away, but I paid a down payment of like $500. I paid $500 up front and then they do the rest in 12 months payment. One of the good things, which is tip number 2, is that Ideal Image prescribed numbing cream for you. So they know that it's a service that's not necessarily the most pleasant and not necessarily the best experience. So they prescribe numbing cream for you just in case like you can't handle or your pain tolerance is extremely low. So at first, at the first session, I figured like, oh, I don't need it, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. After like the first session, after I went through, I'm like, yeah, so you want to prescribe me that numbing cream or not? So they prescribed the numbing cream for me. I filmed my second video. You saw my second video where I actually put the numbing cream on at the time that they directed, which was I think an hour and a half before your appointment. That's when you're supposed to put it on. So this is lidocaine, and it's 2.5 lidocaine, 2.5%, and prilocaine, 2.5% cream for topical use only. Anyways, so this is numbing cream. Usually what I do is I squeeze a whole bunch and I rub the area. I actually have a video of me rubbing it, you'll see it. So I would just like put it on the numbing cream, making sure I put it on about an hour and a half before so I can numb the area. So by the time I get there, I don't have anything to worry about. I want to believe that it works because the pain, I still feel it. Like, don't get me wrong, having the numbing cream does not eliminate the feeling of the laser whatsoever. I still felt it. I still was squirming. I was like, still like, oh my God, what is going on? But I feel like when I had the numbing cream on, it felt, you know, like if you put Bengay like on your back or on your like joints or whatever and it starts like burning and it's like tight or whatever, that's exactly what it feel like. If I were to poke like my vagina, it would be like numb. So I felt like, okay, I can't feel this, so the laser won't be as bad. Honey, still felt it. Still felt every single thing. The laser, when they're doing the laser doesn't like to pick up on any, like let's say, any creams, any lotions, anything. So when you get there, the first thing they make you do is get a wipe and wipe off everything off of you. So when I walk in, the first thing they said, did you put the numbing cream on? Okay, go ahead and wipe it off. Or do you have, I don't know why you would have lotion or anything else on your crotch, but they just want you to like clean everything completely because they said the laser does not like anything wet, anything creamy, anything on top of your skin because it just interferes with the laser itself. With the shaving, I literally just saw someone post a video about the shaving and making sure you have a close shave because it hurts more when you have a little bit of stubble or whatever. Honestly, it really makes no difference if you have a little bit of stubble or if you have no hair. Really makes no difference because the hair is still gonna be, like the laser is still gonna be zapping in it, like regardless or not. So that really has no, it plays no part in how much hair you really have if you have a really, really close shave or if you take off all of your hair. But in reality, that's my personal preference and that's something I did ask her too, and I said it in my last video. Like, does having a little bit of hair mess it up or does it make it more painful? And she said no, and I didn't even really feel a difference anyway too. As far as waxing and lasering, you can't do both of them at the same time. If you're waxing, you're waxing. If you're doing laser, you're doing laser. Now the reason for that is because if you're waxing is removing the hair from the root, and they actually need those follicles or those hair so the laser can zap in and kill those follicles. If you're waxing and you remove that hair completely, there's nothing for the laser to zap and there's nothing for the laser to kill, so the hair would stop growing back. So that's why they recommend that you shave. So every time you shave, you remember shaving is just taking off that top layer. So if you shave, the follicles will still be there and the laser would definitely be able to zap in and kill that follicle. Whenever you think of laser, don't think it's a one-time thing and you're automatically done because hair grows in different cycles. When you laser, they kill that hair follicle, right? So they zap in, kill the follicle, and then once the hair follicle is like zapped out and like dead, then the hair is still technically gonna be pushing out because it's like growing out, whatever. So when it's coming out, your hair starts to fall out completely because it's dead. It's not going to grow out and continue to grow like hair grows. It's growing out to the point where it just falls out completely. So at one point you can sit there and you can like do this and you have the hair inside of your hand. So it just like falls out completely. It doesn't all grow back all at once. Sometimes it grows back in patches and it doesn't grow back right away. You have to shave at least like the night before you get the laser done. So obviously when you're getting the laser done, you have no hair. So it's not gonna grow your hair back literally 2 days later. It's not gonna grow back a week later. I mean, once your hair starts growing, the hair is just gonna fall out. And then the other layer is gonna start growing and then they go in and zap that. So it's gonna be a continuous cycle until all of the layers are completely zapped out to the point where your hair just stops growing back. The sessions are 8 weeks apart. My sessions are 8 weeks apart. I know, or from what I've heard, different places who have sessions that are, let's say 6 weeks or 4 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever. My sessions are 8 weeks apart. That's what they recommended for me. That's what they told me. I stick to what is being told. And like I said, I can only go off of my experience. So it's been 4 sessions. I've been religiously keeping up with my appointments. It's been 8 weeks every single time, and that's why it was hard for me to be able to like do like an updated video, because I wanted to be able to give it some time so I can show you if I have any results and how much hair is actually growing back. I won't necessarily recommend Groupons. So a lot of people have been saying, oh well, I can just go on Groupon and get laser sessions, or where they have like those bundle deals of, oh, I can do 8 sessions for $99. I'm like, yeah, you're just gonna get a $99 job and your vagina might fall off and you might get burned and your hair might just definitely grow back. Because with the laser, I'm just itching. With the laser, they're doing a bunch of different like intensities. Now, in the beginning stages, because your hair is more coarse, they're gonna go with a higher intensity because they wanna make sure that they're killing that follicle and it's not necessarily coming back. Now, once your hair starts thinning out and it gets to the point where your sessions are getting higher and you're getting to like the 5th, 6th session, then the intensity is going to go a little bit lower, because they don't need to be that harsh with the intensity because your hair is already thinning out and it's already to the point where 50% of your hair is not even coming back. So they start off in the beginning with a higher intensity so they can like make sure that they're zapping out as much as possible. Let me tell you about my experience on the last session. Honestly, it was the worst session out of all of them, period. The worst session. And I put on the numbing cream, I did everything I was supposed to do, and it hurt so bad. Like, it hurt, well, I don't want to scare you and I don't want you to feel like, okay, this is not for me and this is why I don't do the laser, I'm just gonna stick to shaving. But in reality, it is worth it. So it's not to the point where I'm like, oh my God, stop, 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 I can't take it. It's just like, oh Lord Jesus, whoa, what is going on down there? But it's, like I said, not to the point where I'm dying. But anyways, so I was going through that session. I wanted to record it, but I really couldn't even hold the camera because I was just sitting there like, oh God, are you done? Are you done? The pro about it is that the sessions really are extremely fast. So if you want to like go on like your lunch break, it takes 10 minutes. Literally, it takes 10 minutes. It's not like they're going to go over the same area. They zap it, zap it, zap it, zap it. You're done. You're out the door. You don't even remember that you just had the laser done, because as soon as they go over that area, that pain is already subsided. Like, you don't even feel that afterwards. It's just because they have to go over certain areas and it's like, oh God, are you done yet? I have a piercing down there. So in the beginning, the first 3 sessions, like the top part of like my bikini wasn't growing back, but inside the lips, it was like, why the hell do I have so much hair inside of there? Like, it looks so weird. And I feel like the first 2 people that I had, they were like afraid to go in or like move around my piercing to get into my lips. So on my last session, I explained to the lady, I was like, because the first thing she asked me was like, how much hair do I feel grew back? And I told her I feel like about 60% of my hair is already gone, which is a good thing because I don't really have much hair at all. I'm only on my 4th session. And I told her like inside of my lips, it felt like the laser didn't even touch there. So she made sure that she took some time to go into that area. My nigga, when she went in there, I was like, you know what? Like, that don't feel too good, but I just had to like keep trucking through it. I just had to just sit there like, oh my Lord Jesus, like, just let it be over, let it be over. But I mean, I got through it. She explained to me that that session that I did, which was the 4th session, she said, whatever I felt that time, I'm not gonna feel that anymore. Basically, that was the highest intensity, because she said at my 4th session, I still had some hair that was coarse. So the intensity had to go a little bit higher so they can make sure that they're zapping it out, because in total, there's only 9 sessions. There's only 9 sessions, and I'm on my 4th session. The hair was still a little bit coarse, so she's like, okay, we're gonna do a high intensity, but the 5th session is the last session of that intensity. So the 4th and the 5th session are the highest intensity. So she was like, whatever you're feeling right now, which was excruciating pain, whatever I'm feeling right now, I will not feel anything worse than that. So that's the good thing, and that's what's making me feel a little bit better. Like, oh my God, can this get any worse? But it's not. And knowing that I only have, what, 5 more sessions to go. For 5 sessions, you go every week. The final 4 sessions are 10 weeks apart, because in reality, your hair should already be minimal. So there's no need to go back in 8 weeks, because you probably don't even have hair there. So the final 4 sessions are 10 weeks apart. And the final 4 sessions that are 10 weeks apart, they're at a lower intensity, because they already killed all that bad boys, like from the first 5 sessions. So you don't have necessarily as much pain, you don't have as much hair, your hair is like completely thin out, and it's probably like nothing. But the reason that you're continuing to do it, because you want to make sure that all of those follicles, everything is already dead, because you don't want to sit here and be like, oh, my hair is not growing back, and you skip a session and you just leave it alone and not go back. All of a sudden, your hair starts growing back because you didn't finish all the sessions, you didn't kill all the hair completely. So you want to make sure that you follow through with the sessions. If this is something that you want to do, you want to make sure you go 100%. Don't half-ass and say, you know what, I can't take the pain, I'm not going to do it anymore. So if it's something that you really want to do, go for it. Get it through, grow the hell up, and get it done. Like, it's not to the point where it's, like I said, the worst pain inside of the world. I can't compare it to child labor, because I never had a child. So I just know that it did hurt, and I laid there and I stuck through it. I didn't tell her to stop. I was breathing. I had my stress ball, and I was holding on to that bad boy extremely tight, but I held my composure, and I tried to stick it through. My tattoos, if you have any tattoos around the area, the laser, or they won't, or they didn't for me, go over where my tattoo was, because they just said that if they were to go over the area go over my tattoo with the laser, it can go into the ink and splat it, and then I'll just have a messed up tattoo. But I honestly think that the last girl that I had, she went over it, because before, right where the tattoo was, hair would grow back. It was so weird. Like, I didn't have any hair at the top, and then right where the tattoo was, I just have hair just like growing like crazy. And now it's like a little bit, well, a lot less. So I feel like the last 2 ladies that I had, she went over the tattoo, because it's not really much hair there at all. For people that are prone to ingrowns and stuff like that, I don't want to necessarily say that laser is going to get rid of your ingrown hairs, but it will definitely help. At Ideal, when I first signed up for it, and I didn't even start my first session, they gave me like a bag of goodies. So I had like some scented oils and some like lotion, body butter, whatever. And then they also gave me these ingrown, let me see if you can see it. They gave me these ingrown eliminating pads. These pads that they gave me at Ideal Image, it's just like one of these little circular thing. It's a little textured. So what you would do is just like rub it all over your area, and it just helps eliminate them. Now, mind you, never used this a day in my life, so I can't speak on this. I can't tell you what this does, because I've never used it. Exfoliation is like a big thing. You want to make sure that you're exfoliating all the time. Basically, I exfoliate at least twice a week. So if you don't exfoliate, obviously you have that dead skin there. That dead skin is basically putting that layer on top of your, it's just having that dead skin and having that layer. So obviously if your hair is growing out, it's not gonna push out, because you have that dead skin that's there. So if you exfoliate and you're like consistently removing that dead skin, you should have no problem to the point where you're having ingrown hairs, because everything goes hand in hand. You need to exfoliate, remove that dead skin. If you have an ingrown hair serum, or if you have these ingrown hair pads, those ingredients in there that are definitely like working to kill inside, to like push those ingrown hairs out, whatever. So this is not going to penetrate into your skin if you have that dead skin there. So exfoliation and using the product. You can't just get laser, you can't just get wax, and you can't just shave and expect you to have silky smooth skin if you're not doing anything after that. So aftercare is like one of the biggest things that you want to make sure that you're doing. And that you don't go in the sun a week or two before your sessions. Don't go in the sun a week after you get your session. So you want to make sure that you stay clear from that, because having that laser go into those areas and exposing it to the sun can definitely lead to big hyperpigmentation. If you don't know what hyperpigmentation is, it's when your skin gets discolored and you can't basically fix that shit. Pretty much. It's like you end up with dark spots, and your dark spots are going to sit there forever, and you're going to have to try extremely hard to try to fix that and reverse that problem. I think I answered everything. I want to say I answered everything. But if I did not, which I really hope I did, just leave the comments down below. I answer the questions all the time. So if you have any other questions, ask it below. I'll be sure to answer it. I'm going to keep updating you, of course. So if by the end of the session, I'm going to show you a before and after picture. So you will see how nasty my vagina looked and how pretty it looks now. So yeah, I just want you guys to be able to understand or see that you're not the only person that's going through what you think you're going through. It's kind of like we all, in reality, a lot of us have a lot of the same problems. A lot of people just choose not to express it or not talk about it. And I just feel like if I can't share my experiences with you, then how else is anyone going to know, or how else am I going to help anyone? So I just wanted to be able to like share this video with you, just to let you know what to expect for anyone that deciding to go through laser, or even if you want to get any information on waxing. I can definitely like do another separate video on hair removal, period. So like I said, you can leave any comments below or any questions that I didn't answer. And I appreciate you guys for watching this video and me ramble and talk a lot, because I tend to talk a lot. And I love you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Please subscribe to my channel, because I think that I'm pretty cool and I want you guys to be my friend, because I'm just sitting here in the room by myself and I need some buddies. I need some buddies. Be my buddy. But yeah, thank you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you in my next video.